Hello. Oh,
Oh,
hello.
whoa.
Someone's already here.
Surprise.
Sweet. Well, hello, person who's already here.
Silver Talon. Hi, Silver Talon.
Sup?
You guys have to tell us if we're loud enough because I feel like on my Twitter videos I'm so quiet and I'm not even I'm actually trying to talk kind of loud already. And I was surprised by that. I still thought I sounded kind of quiet.
I always sound loud to myself, so
Mm-hmm.
we're just wait.
We're just
Wait.
okay, I'm not gonna do anything because I feel like that's gonna be annoying.
Oh, someone else is
People
here.
watching. Sounds
Oh,
good.
thanks, Miles.
Yay.
Thanks. How's it going? Or maybe I'll tweet on the page and say, "Hey, we're here."
Yeah. We're live.
Yeah. I'm in this group chat with my family, and my dad just caught up to all of the messages, and he's like, just took me 5 minutes to read all 71 of these.
Yeah.
All right.
Crazy. Your family's cool for having a group chat. My family would never have a group chat. There's a group email, but
Oh yeah. Well, my dad like emails me and texts me, so that's interesting. Okay. Oh. Oh, okay. Yeah. All right, we are live.
super live. So live. Did either of you guys did anyone in the chat submit anything? Miles or Silver Talon? So if I'm gonna have two screens open, so first today we have Paul Andrighetti. Do you think that's how you say his last name?
Let's see.
And
I always mess up people's names. I had to actually DM Raceland and be like, tell me your name phonetically.
Yeah.
Oh, Paul said that's right.
Hi, Paul. We are going to start with your poems. Do you want to read one and then I'll read the other?
Let's see. Sure. Yeah, we can do that. Okay. And I did just tweet it out like spaghetti. That's awesome. Thanks. We need help sometimes. Especially, I feel like, so for you guys that are on here, Kateri and I both have badasses in English. And yes, so I don't know about you, but I tend to look at things phonetically, and sometimes that's just not how they're said out loud.
Yeah. Have you ever learned about a word in a book? So come up with your own pronunciation for it and then found out that actually that's not how you pronounce it.
Yeah.
I've done that multiple times.
Yes, a lot.
Phonetically figured it out in my own, and I was like, oh, that's a new word, looked it up in the dictionary, and then didn't bother to check how it's pronounced. Yeah.
Yes.
Be like, oh, I'm gonna be so smart using my new word.
Yeah.
And then make a fool of myself.
Yeah. I feel like a good example of that is lingerie. That's nothing like that. I remember being a little kid. What's lingerie?
Linger. Yeah. Especially if it's not fully English, I guess.
Lunatic, lunatic.
Lunatic. Yeah. Oh, you know what? This one's not that bad, but the word, but in the badass times, the BA times for English major, like the word ephemeral is used a lot.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah.
Like they love ephemeral shit.
Yes.
And so I used to call it ephemeral or something.
Yes. Same.
And I remember having a moment where people were saying ephemeral, and I was like, "Why are you saying it wrong?" And then I realized everyone's calling it that. No, you're wrong.
One of the
Such an English
instances
major.
where everybody saying something actually is right.
Yeah,
All right.
cool. So who's here that was here last week? Because I wasn't here.
I was.
Oh, really? Wait, but you didn't see me. I did actually chime in at the end. I like literally heard the last little section of my story. You were reading mine.
Yeah, I saw
That's
like
cool.
as soon as I was like, okay, I guess I'll go now. I like saw yours pop up. Wait, I'm here.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's all
I'm
right.
here. Wait.
That's how I saw it in my head.
Yeah, that's how I felt.
Kind of like it reminds me of like Fievel and well, what's it called? Oh, Fievel and what's that movie? American Tail, is that what's called with the where the mice are like leaving? And anyways, that's what it reminds us.
I don't know what I'm talking
That's what it reminds me of because he like got lost. So okay. So
Cool.
we have 7 people, it looks like, watching.
Cool.
American Tail. Yes. Oh, hey. Hi, Ellers. What's up?
Hey, Elders, what's up? Cool. Good to
Every
see
time I
you.
see him, I always see Andy going, Ellers,
Yeah.
Ellers.
Ellers. I mean, everyone calls you Ellers, right? Does anyone actually call you James? I want to know. Because in my head, you're just Ellers now. Because that's your handle, right? So
Yeah.
if that wasn't intended, it's your fault. Not my fault. Ellers. So Alan agrees.
Well, if it wasn't what everybody called you before, it's what they call you now. Yep,
Yeah.
Ellers, mainly. Yep.
Cool. I like it.
Okay, American Tail, and then Five Goes West, I think, was one of the sequels because they had like a whole like series.
Mm-hmm. Trying to figure out this. There. Am I on the screen? Okay. James is too bland. Yeah, my dad's name is James, but he goes by Jim.
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 That makes me think of The Office.
It's not like that, Jim. Actually, a little bit. The prank thing. Definitely the prank thing. Fievel goes. Okay, I have to see these movies. Apparently, I didn't.
They're like
I
classic.
I don't even know what you're talking about. Or maybe I would if I. Yes, of course. The Yang Gang loves The Office.
I think, yeah. We talked about this. Kateri and I talk, like, we're in almost constant communication because of the book club. But we were talking about the merits of Parks and Rec as well. I like Parks and Rec.
Something. I like Parks and Rec.
Okay, because
I like The
I
Office.
want to be Leslie Knope.
I mean, I love The Office, but yeah, I connected more with Parks and Rec than The Office.
It gets better by the 3rd season when Adam Scott is there and
The Parks and Rec.
Yeah, I think like the 3rd season is when.
Who is Adam Scott?
He plays Ben Wyatt.
Right. Yeah. That whole era of it onwards is the better part.
Yeah.
Okay, no one's chiming in on the Parks and Rec, so maybe we're alone.
I'm okay with that because guess what? Leslie Knope was also always alone, and she persevered. So
living the life.
Yes.
Okay, so we have 8 people.
I know.
Not
Paul said it's hard to beat The Office. It is hard to beat The Office. I wouldn't say it's better than The Office. I just connected with it a little bit, and I'm not as embarrassed when I watch it. Like I don't get secondhand embarrassment.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
Cringe. The point, but it's so cringe.
Sebastian. Bye bye, little Sebastian.
There's Sebastian. That's what me and my boyfriend do all the time. Because we already make fun of like Nickelback and those bands that do that. We already do that anyway, so we love that part so much.
Jackie, that one was for you, just for you.
Hi, Jackie. Shall we get started? I feel like
Yeah, go ahead. I feel like we have a few
we
people
have
now.
8, which is awesome.
Yeah. So I guess I'll just do like a rundown real fast. So basically, I'm Megan. This is Kateri.
Hi.
We are the co-creators of the Yang Gang Book Club, and Mondays are Yang Gang Story Time, and that's when we want to take your submissions and read them.
Yeah, so trying to encourage you guys to, write and share your writing, and you can also submit something that is not your writing. I think we have at least one poem, right?
Yeah.
So just, so we can chat about stuff and have a more casual thing, because, it's nice to have that within a book club that's not just the book itself, because that can still be limiting. So I'm excited for this.
Me too.
Tradition.
Yeah.
And then we're thinking of trying to have some write time. Maybe we should ask them about that really fast.
Yeah. So we'll have to like iron out the details. A lot of times, I was telling Kateri this yesterday, my ideas get ahead of me. But we were thinking of doing on Wednesdays we write. Mean Girls reference a little bit there. And have like writing prompts for you guys, and we all take the time to like write something and then share it.
Or not share it. You don't have to share it.
Yeah. But,
just say, yeah, I wrote something, believe me.
Yeah. But just to like encourage creating within the Yang Gang, yeah, because I feel like we do have a lot of people who do have kind of a creative mind, and writing is a great outlet for that, whether you're a good writer or not. It's just an incredible outlet.
All good writers were shit writers at one point. No one was good or great to start out, so you gotta start somewhere.
And anyone who's a good writer
Eller's right.
Edited the fuck out of it. Like
yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
In order for it to be good, it is very highly edited.
The second draft is where you make it look like you knew what you were doing all along.
Yes.
That's what they say.
So, okay, yeah, we have some. All right, you guys are kind of down for it. Okay, cool. So maybe we will launch that this week or next week and see how it goes. Cool.
Yeah. Cool.
Sweet.
If you have any ideas, let us know.
Yeah, always feel free to shoot us a DM or an email. We love ideas. So, okay, so we'll go ahead and get started. The first submission is from Paul. He sent us 2 poems. And so the first one is called Mortal Wound. All right. How far is the sun from the dawn? How far is the thing from the substance, from fingers meant for touching, not desperately grasping and spent, slowly slipping from the intangible tufts of bygone promises, written in books of love, so sweet I want to cry, so bitter when plucked into this world, withering while waiting for fruition, whispering when we ought to be yelling, laughing when we ought to be grieving, living while amongst the dying, slowly dying ourselves, so slow the inches stop to count, and age seems no wiser, just more corrupt, more blind and burdened by 10,000 unseeable sins, cleverly collected along the way, stubbornly cast with concrete foundations of sand and lies, foolishly convinced it's something absolute, clinging to these crumbling castles, waging wars all around, just for another lick of that mortal wound.
Like feels like a very appropriate poem for right now. Did you write this recently?
I know. I'm very like Paul, let
It's
us know. Did
very
you write this recently? That was very
so depressingly beautiful.
yeah, like haunting. Like
Exactly.
haunting. Yeah.
Yeah. It just like feels like very of this moment to me, but that's definitely doesn't have to be, but I'm just curious. I have many
So Paul, if you're
um
still here, let us know. Did you just
yeah.
write this for the times?
Yeah, I definitely like the sense of there's such a sense of like awareness of like all of the feelings and the sensory feelings that are happening like around the writer.
Hmm.
But then at the same time, there's this sense of like loss or discontent or disconnectedness. So it really like it strikes a really nice like pathos, I think, this poem.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Was there a note that came along with the submission? Did we forget about
Oh
that?
yeah, I totally forgot to
While
read
in
that.
northern Iraq. Oh, very
Yes.
much for the times. Nicely done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
he did.
I
I
like
totally forgot to read his little.
well we'll read it after, either
Yeah.
before or after. Yeah. If you guys submit a note or anything, we'll read it so that people can hear your thoughts and have context. I'm so bad at this. Okay, there we go. So I'm like
I got out my
okay,
other laptop to like make sure it stays stable.
yeah. So Paul, have you read, do you know of any other poetry that has come out of um, Iraq, or I'm assuming you're saying in the military, right? I
Yeah.
guess that could be, you could be some, could not be that, right? I'm totally just assuming. Curious to know if you know of any other poetry that's come out of that situation.
I'm also curious if there's any like anthologies of
There's got to be.
like wartime poets
Yeah. Yeah.
that are recent.
Right.
Oh,
Right.
humanitarian worker.
Humanitarian worker. Gotcha. Well,
So
that makes
great.
sense. Clearly, you have a lot of humility. Okay, so this one is also quite nice. So I will read now. This is called Us to Fill. How great is the gap, that ancient invisible space, filled with all my heart to ache, filled with hope incomplete, rising like fragrant smoke. How I wish it were solid, that I might step across it to that sacred side, that holiness, long languished in reaching but never grasping, the wisp sifting swift between the fingers, and I left in this halfness, this fragile, failing foundation, a collection of dust, wet with tears like mud for making bricks, bricks for building towers that always seem to fall back into piles of dust again. But I see it in the sunshine, on the mountains and the shorelines, in the laughter of the infants, in the smiling elder eyes, a second space across the gap, not so different than ours, but whole and holy, with shadowy spaces waiting for us to fill.
I love this one.
Yeah, this one I love even more.
I love this one.
Yeah, that's a good poem.
I really like the line, the wisp sifting swift between the fingers.
Oh my gosh, that one's like, and it's like kind of a mind trip to read too, because you're like trying to like grapple with like reading aloud, like getting the words from your brain out of your mouth, but at the same time trying to like actually comprehend what it's saying.
Yeah, it's really good.
I was like, whoa, but in a good way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I have to say, like, I think this poem's a little bit stronger because there is more like concrete visual aspect to it, which is obviously going to be like a personal preference thing. But for me, um, it's like more memorable that way because I do have a little more to visualize, and and the writing is so strong as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think you should try to publish this one.
Yeah, I think so too. I
Paul.
think it's,
I mean, both for sure, but this one's really, really strong. So excellent work. Thank you for sharing.
well, thank you. Yeah, those are great. He also said that he does know a few poets, so he'll recommend them on Twitter.
Awesome. Yeah, have them join the book club and we'll
Yeah.
read their poetry.
Yeah, love it. He said, that's very kind. I appreciate the read. I always feel, I don't know, I felt this kind of last time too. Reading, I feel like poetry, I mean, at least for me, was very cathartic. And it was like, if you were reading my poetry, you were reading my innermost mind.
Yeah.
And my innermost heart, and like the things that are so deep that like I can't not put them in poetry form, because I felt like to not meant I wasn't getting them out the right way.
Mm-hmm.
And so reading them sometimes, it's kind of like, it's a lot of trust, I feel like, for people to submit their poetry to us. And so reading them, I want you guys to know that we don't take it lightly. We love that you submit them to us.
Yeah.
To read, because it does take not only a lot of like work to write them, but it takes a lot of emotion.
Yeah. I don't think people will know how, like, especially for us right now at this time, like running this whole thing, like every submission, every comment, every DM, it means so much. Like it's been such a solace.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I guess maybe we don't share it as much. So might as well say it here while we have some people on the stream.
Yeah. It makes us feel good.
Yeah.
Really
happy.
Like we're helping in our own little way. And
yeah, and you guys are in turn helping us too.
Yeah.
Oh wait. Did we want to read Paul's note?
Yeah, I was just about to read that.
Okay.
So he said, "Hey there, Yang Gang Book Club. I saw your Twitter post about short stories, essay, and poem submissions, and I thought I might share a few of my poems with the club. I am new to the book club, but I love the idea of having a creative platform for the Yang Gang to come together and share their creativity. I will definitely be joining for Monday's live session." And you did. "Please find attached a few of my poems and feel free to share them or not. Either way, I hope you enjoy them. I look forward to getting to know everybody in the club a little bit better. Cheers, Paul."
Cheers.
And spaghetti like spaghetti. And I like reading those too, because I don't know if you're a big podcast listener, but some of my favorite podcasts, my favorite podcast right now is My Favorite Murder. Shout out to other murderinos out there. And they will do like their hometown murders, and they'll always read the submissions from their email, and they always read like the little "Hey guys, thank you so much" kind of thing, and it makes me so happy. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just
So
a nice
now
touch.
I'm happy that we get to do that. I'm like, man, I feel like
to do
my favorite podcasters.
That's awesome. Okay, so is the next one Raceland's?
Let's see.
You should read his.
It is Raceland.
Megan and Raceland are buddies, so
he's one of my Twitter friends. That's one of the cool things about Twitter, is like, I mean, it's like one of the cool things. There's a lot of like bad about Twitter, but I feel like one of the good things is like you make friends, and like that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So he said, "Hi, it's Raceland. Here's my poem." Smiley face. I feel like this one, I feel like I'm gonna have to snap after this one, like a slam poetry kind of thing. All right. "Running my thoughts like a locomotion in a time when loca is at motion. I'm an ocean deep with little motion, observing the madness going around, while I'm homebound in quarantine, feeling like thousands are at the guillotine because so many can't help but be obscene. It only took the first quarter to feel like we got hit by a 2020 mortar. April 1st is in, and I wish this was a joke. It's bad enough most are just over broke. Millions are filing for unemployment, while chameleons profit by the millions and kick back in enjoyment as many go to work like a forced deployment. Had I one wish, I'd wish for a UBI because it's way better than a UBY. I can't help but spy with my little eye a marathon long 20th century lie. I pray that we'll make it through and stronger than ever as a unified crew, especially with next to no help by the few. We could have had better, but I guess we needed COVID's letter to wake up humanity from its ongoing insanity.
How cool. Yeah, snaps. Snaps for
Yeah.
Raceland. That was great.
So his poetry, I feel like, is very train of thought poetry in kind of like a lyrical way. And he does kind of, and when I said that, I didn't realize that he actually does write music sometimes. And I was like,
yeah.
that makes sense. It sounds like almost like a song.
Totally. That's exactly what I was going to say. I was like, this sounds like a song. Like, this sounds like a folk song. Like,
It's very lyrical in its substance.
Like almost like, yeah, like a alternative rock soul, folk, bluegrass type song.
Yeah. I like the had I one wish, I'd wish for a UBI because it's way better than a UBY.
I know, that was a good one.
I love that one. Love that line.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basic
Super
why.
Cool. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, and I like that your opening stanza is really good with all that repetitive rhyme. Isn't there a term for that?
There is.
When it's like rhyme that's really repetitive.
Yeah, I have it. So I saw my creative writing teacher made us do creative writing journals, and then decorate them and keep everything. It was really cool, honestly. It was very cool. And very organized. Loved it. It was a big part of our grade. But there's a whole poetry section, and I have everything labeled. So I'd have to look at it to see. But I have all the different forms of poetry because there were different ones that I was like way better at than. And the repetitive rhyme is actually harder than people think. So
yeah, I forget. I've like learned all of the terms for all of the things, and I swear the only one I know anymore is like alliteration. I've forgotten all of them. I'm like, that's a thing.
Alliteration.
It's a thing.
Yeah,
that's a thing. I don't know what it's called, but it's a thing.
Yeah. Someone said
to trust me on this. Anyway, no one cares about us.
Someone called us cool.
Really? Oh wow, I don't feel that cool right now, but I will. I will just accept that and say.
Oh, Jackie said it is a nice reminder of how Andrew was ahead of his time. It is. I think so too.
Yeah. I think it's fun that we should do a thing where we just like try to get people to write UBI and like Andrew Yang poems just as like a fun thing. Because I've already seen a few.
Yeah.
So, okay. So I guess I should read
Kai.
This is Kai Feliciano. Hello, YGBC. I love that this is a thing already.
I know.
We didn't do that. We were like, I think at one point I was just saying like, hey, like we should, like try to be like YGBC, like
yeah,
it's like YMCA.
Way at the beginning, and someone was like, "Oh, it kind of sounds like Yang Gang Baptist Church," and I was like, "No, book club."
Or just YG Book Club being that one rapper.
I almost spit out my water. Yeah. Take all over my new computer.
Sorry guys, but you guys are cool for doing that because we didn't do that. But YGBC. Okay, t-shirt.
Yeah.
It's fun to stay at the YGBC. You could do it. We all get everyone doing that.
T-shirt.
Okay, sorry.
They're getting some hints on this live stream. Hinted.
Okay. Let me know if there's anything I can do to help. Oh, we appreciate it. I guess I can like sort of comment on that. If you are interested in being involved in the book club at all, and you think you have something to like add, just like DM us because it's already getting pretty big and we have lots of ideas. So, if you're interested, just reach out. Like,
We're all in this together.
yeah. Oh, how do you say the title? Desiderata
Does it
is
there?
a
I'm sure there's like a.
Kai here. Is Kai here? I don't see a Kai. Okay. Or is Kai Silver Talon? I am Bear. I am now Silver Talon. Are you Kai?
I feel like sometimes the comments are also behind, so I don't know.
Okay. Here we go. Desiderata. Go placidly amid the noise and haste, and remember what peace there may be in silence. As far as possible without surrender, be on good terms with all persons. Speak your truth quietly and clearly, and listen to others. Even the dull and the ignorant, they too have their story. Avoid loud and aggressive persons. They are vexations to the spirit. If you compare yourself with others, you may become vain and bitter, for always there will be greater and lesser persons than yourself. Enjoy your achievements as well as your plans. Keep interested in your own career, however humble. It is a real possession in the changing fortunes of time. Exercise caution in your business affairs, for the world is full of trickery. But let this not blind you to what virtue there is. Many persons strive for high ideals, and everywhere life is full of heroism. Be yourself, especially do not feign affection. Neither be cynical about love, for in the face of all aridity and disenchantment, it is as perennial as the grass. Take kindly the counsel of the years, gracefully surrendering the things of youth. Nurture strength of spirit to shield you in sudden misfortune. Many fears are born of fatigue and loneliness. Beyond a wholesome discipline, be gentle with yourself. You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here, and whether or not it is clear to you, no doubt the universe is unfolding as it should. Therefore, be at peace with God, whatever you conceive him to be, and whatever your labors and aspirations in the noisy confusion of life, keep peace with your soul. With all its sham, drudgery, and broken dreams, it is still a beautiful world. Be cheerful. Strive to be happy. This is Max Ehrmann, Desiderata, 1952. Oh, so this is written by, this was the one that I read that was written by somebody else.
I have thoughts.
Yeah.
First of all, that is comforting. Like very comforting. I like teared up at the what part was it? It was, you're a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here. I was like, I do. I do. And then my second was, so I grew up going to church, and like this kind of reminded me of like a Song of Solomon or like the Psalms, which are like poetry books.
Totally.
But it was kind of in that same vein of like wisdom and that kind of thing.
Yeah, totally. This made me think about how so many, you guys don't even know how many people recommend The Alchemist.
Yeah.
By who is it by? Is it Paulo Coelho? I don't know even know how to say it.
Yeah.
It's like,
I can visualize it. It's in my head.
Yeah. Paolo. I just don't know how to say the last name fully correctly, but it's Paolo Callo. I lost you. Where? So yeah, it just reminds me of that. Like there's so many like prophets in the ink, you know? Like
Yeah.
they're just I mean it's just that it speaks, that kind of thing just speaks to everyone. And this is really a lovely poem. Like this is not the kind of poetry that I actually really gravitate towards naturally. Like I'm more into the like the visual and the wordplay, and this is very like you said, like it's like this more like bring it back to basics, and like just like really like not basics as in like it's simplistic, but basics as in it's just really pure, you
Yeah.
know, like purity of thought. And this was such a comfort. You're right, like I couldn't agree with you more. It's like
Yeah.
this is like the perfect poem for right now. Like
Yeah, for sure. I feel like that certain phrases will like stick with me for a while. I mean, that's why I like music so much. That's why I like reading. Like certain phrases will stick in my mind and bring me comfort. And I feel like You Are a Child of the Universe is going to like stick with me for a while.
you know, yes. There was, what was the one that I loved that like almost like I had to like stop myself from stopping to read. It was the one about sorry. It was the one about spirit. Okay, let me find this.
Are you meeting with
They can hear you.
Hi, Rob.
Rob is here. Do you have an important question? Okay. Then go away. What was the one Teresa be here? Was it before this? What was it? Okay, maybe I can't find it. There was the one about like your spirit, or because yeah, I'm like super like in like where. Okay, well maybe.
Was it towards the
It
beginning?
says it says nurture strength of spirit to shield you in sudden misfortune. Maybe that was it, but then that's not ringing a bell. Okay. I'll go back. I'll tweet about it later.
I know I'm already like I have to tweet out that one line about being a child of the universe. I'm like I have to tweet that. That is so
you should
beautiful.
tweet that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's the this. It's not spirit. It's soul. In the noisy confusion of life, keep peace with your soul. That one's it.
That's a good one too.
That one I
like hits you right here.
Yeah, it hit me.
Yeah.
That's it. Okay, so
next up.
Thank you for the submission.
Hold on.
Kai.
Oh yeah, Kai. That was amazing. Okay, Karina is next. Karina Avellino. I probably said that wrong, and I apologize.
I think that's how you say it.
Oh, she said hi, Megan. Huh. I think. Oh, I know who this is. Yeah. I think her handle is like K Avo or something like that. I think I can see her like profile pic. I'm attaching 3 poems. If you want to share any of them on your Monday reads, then feel free to do so. If not, no hard feelings. You guys are so polite. I haven't published these yet, so I ask that you only share them spoken poetry form and non-written form. Thank you, Karina. You got it. Your wish is our command. Okay, so she submitted 3.
Okay.
So I guess I'll start with the first one, and then if we want, we could either do the next. Hey, Trevor! Trevor's here.
Hey, Trevor.
What's up, Trevor?
Well, we were just saying we were gonna in the future sort of specify that we'll take 1 story and 1 to 3 poems. So this is 3. So
sweet. Okay. Yeah. So we'll go back and forth.
We'll always read like basically as much as you want us to read, but like within the 1 session.
Aw, that's nice. Have had this on in the background while I prep for my online art students at 4. I'm not a writer myself, but love listening to these.
Oh,
Aw,
cool. Love it. Thank you. Thank
thanks,
you for
Kat.
chiming in, Kat. And by the way, I go
Awesome.
by Kat too. I go by Kateri, but my teacher name is Miss Kat.
I go by Megan. I'm not really a big fan of Meg, especially since
Yeah.
the guy, that whole like, shut up, Meg. And so
Oh yeah.
Megan. But also, Kat, I wanted to say you are a hero because I know that being a online teacher right now is a big adjustment. So
Yeah.
I hope everything's going well for you. I'm sure you miss your students. I know my mom like really misses hers. So thank you for being
Thank you, Kat.
Okay. So Karina's first one is called High Noon. I walk the streets of your world in my heels and my skirt, just as you ordered them, too high and too short. My smile colored with a dye only semi-permanent. My eyes formed from the ashes of my grandmother's secrets. She smothered the flames with her subservience. Your terse audience and winded expectations, an eye full of muck ripping the feathers from my wings. My halo is a lie, and I am too damn forgiving. You direct and demand without understanding the play. As I read the script you composed from the ranks of privilege, the words turn in my mouth like soured milk, curdled and outdated. My mother stood in your shadow at dawn, but the sun is close to noon. My sore feet stand taller, flat against the earth. My body is no longer a witness in hiding. My hands have forgotten how to salute, and my pretty mouth spits out all the dirty words you forbid me, landing on the tie of misogyny, your beloved noose.
Whoa. Some heavy shit.
Wow, I feel like I have to like unravel.
To go shower. I know. To walk it off. Beautiful poem.
Yeah.
Very striking, very memorable, very everything.
I like it. I know this is like so weird. But I mean it's not weird. Maybe other people like this too, but I like when people work profanity into their like poetry and writing. And
what is the profanity?
Oh, she said too damn forgiving.
Oh, okay.
And the reason I like that is because I know some people don't curse, but I feel like for me that's a very like it's a form of expression, right? Like in a very honest form of expression. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
To me, the fact that it's when someone puts it into their writing, it just feels a little bit more genuine to me. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, I think it's, for me personally, like it can I think it can take away from a poem, but not here. I think it only takes away from a poem for me when it's like just a really angry poem.
Yeah.
And some people really like angry poems, like angry political poems and stuff like that. I don't personally get much from that. That's obviously just a personal taste thing.
Right.
So yeah, I mean this strikes a really good balance of feeling very like raw and from the heart, but also being very clear and very telling a very clear story.
Yeah.
Which I really appreciate that, because it's a hard thing to do, to have, this is, I'm assuming, a very personal poem. And so it's very difficult to strike a balance between something that's very personal and difficult to handle, but also is a structured, like a real poem. Like it's a real poem, and you have to edit it a lot, which means you have to return to that feeling a lot. So yeah, I have nothing but respect for people who write this stuff into poetry.
And I think what's cool about coming at it from like an English background is like knowing the work that goes into poems, and like appreciating it from that end too. Which is cool. Trevor said, I like it when it feels the writer just couldn't do without cursing, like they tried, but it didn't have the same effect. Yeah, I think that's kind of what I was trying to say. Yeah, it's kind of like I could not say it any other way and have it come across as genuine.
I like how people are calling it epic. That's a great way to describe the poem. Yeah.
And then I said that thing about cursing, and they said, actually, fucking epic.
Actually,
exactly. You're being genuine there. Yeah, that was a really, really, really good one. For sure.
So I'm excited to read the next one. This one is called Here We Are Again by Karina Avellino. It was the night that called my name, its solace, the liquor in my tonic. I made love to its promise of anonymity, chasing away the moon. I heard your knock at the door, the pieces of me shattering beside my broken glass, the braids of my intimacy unraveling, my nakedness betraying the memory of you, the tempest of your presence, riotous and winged, inundating my veins, disorienting my limbic synapses. I remembered stripping you of me, ripping your barbed hooks out, drowning your trenchant destruction. Now you trespass this mortal veil, shaming the rapture of the night, robbing it of its magic. I hear the lullaby of your suffering as I crawl into the mouth of dejection, an unwilling accomplice to your savage ways. I'll lock my eyes and bare your skin, vigilant of your breath's toil and the unbinding of your vise. A single tear leaps to its end. In the distance, I hear my name on the wind. Whoa, it just kept getting more intense. Oh, yeah. We're gonna have a new epic scale. On a scale of 1 to Karina.
Yeah.
How epic is it? Whoa. I'm just like, what if it's great, actually really interesting. Someone said they're happy to be subscribed. Oh, that's awesome. There's magic in the words we bleed. Yes, I love it.
That is
the flow. This poem has
beautiful.
This poem has like infinite flow. Like
yes.
It just like propels you like from each line. It's so that's the one thing that and she asked us not to, so I wouldn't anyway, but even well, you guys can't see the layout of the poem. So this poem, I will just say this poem is all one stanza, and that's I think absolutely intentional here. Like she very clearly like this is like all stuck in one room, and it's like claustrophobic, but it has movement at the same time, which is a huge part of why it's so captivating.
Closer and closer to the edge of your seat, like what's happening now?
Yeah, it's a good way to describe it. And then her wordplay and her word choice is like wow, really good.
I am so impressed with disorienting my limbic synapses.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
How did you think of it?
I know, like I love words. I love words so much. And like, I love how you have to be not just smart, but you have to be clever to fit that kind of word into a poem. I mean, you could fit it into a story because you could fit in almost anything into a story, but fitting that into a poem, number one, means that it was important to the concept, but also like you have to be clever. You have to be really clever.
Yeah.
To put it in.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's not, I don't want to ever like use someone's amazing poem to like make other people feel bad, but like for anyone who's interested in writing poetry and stuff like that, like, you know, like you might write a poem and that line might be, I am disoriented, you know, disorienting me. And that's fine, but you can, and like when you're editing and revising, you can go back and say like, okay, that's how I felt and that's the concept I wanted to get across, but how can I give it just more dimension and make it more memorable? You know, there's lots of different ways to describe what she is doing there, but along those
I'm
lines.
super honored she like sent these into us.
I
I don't know, like
know. Holy cow.
it was like I'm like flabbergasted.
I
Like,
love the line as I crawl into the mouth of dejection. That is so
yeah.
good. Oh my gosh.
And I feel like I'd have to read them a few more times to really grasp.
Yeah.
But something about her poetry, like it's so like it's her thoughts and her emotions, and I get that, but I also it feels familiar. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the emotions feel familiar to me.
Yeah.
Um,
It's so unfortunate that so many people now don't realize that poetry like this exists, you know? Like, they think of, like, poetry and, like, Shakespeare and, like, "Dost thou will have
yeah,
thy nothingness,"
yeah,
like, you know, which
yeah,
is beautiful. I love that kind of poetry, but it's this type of stuff that we really, like, connect with more the
yeah,
most, you know?
yeah.
Um,
Okay. I'm like sad we're at the last one first. I
oh,
mean,
the
I'm
last
excited for
one.
the other ones too, but like,
Yeah.
okay. So this one is called Grandmother's Blue Hydrangeas. That is how you say that, right? Hydrangeas.
And that's a really good title. Yes.
Okay. I can still recall the image of my grandmother shearing blue hydrangeas, the aroma of pecan pie, wafting from the open window. This memory sweet, also laden with bitter. As I long to hear the southern cadence of her song, I can still feel her love, feel the way it rocked away all of my sorrows. I didn't know then what my heart can hardly fathom now. The end greets us all, not by the sturdy shake of a hand. Like an arrow to the back, death comes for the last breath, living long enough to fall in love with breathing, long enough to yearn for the sensation of a beating heart. My refusal to glorify my own mortality, second only to my refusal to acknowledge God. This unwillingness is not born from pain, but from memory. I can understand the trimming of hydrangeas as I fail to conceive of my grandmother's pruning. I really, I almost feel like I'm about to cry.
Yeah, I know. Cause I had a really, really, yeah,
Yeah.
this is hard for me. I had a really close relationship with my grandma that she passed away years ago, but she was a
Yes.
gardener. Yeah.
I really like, I kind of choked up at one point and I was like, nope, keep reading, keep reading. Um, yeah, like I,
Yeah.
my grandma was like my solace as a kid.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
my parents were divorced and like that was who I went to.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. And so like and when she died, it like rocked my entire world. Like
Yeah.
I'm
Were you
s-
pretty young?
I was 13. Um
Dude, I think I was like 12.
I know
So
because
we
we're the
have a
same
similar
person.
story. Yeah, we've established this. We're the same person.
Yeah.
If you
um
guys didn't know.
but it's like old enough to understand. But it's
Yeah.
it rocked my world and it still does. Like literally not a day goes by, where like I don't think about her. She was my best friend. Um
Mhm.
and I like I mean, I don't know with your situation, but I watched her die basically. Like
Mm,
I was there the day before she passed away, and it was like heartbreaking to me. And so
yeah.
it was reading this, I was just like, oh, man, like
Yeah.
I connect with this.
Yeah. Yeah, this is also very much like a story that she's telling, and I think it's so clear. And I don't know if like any of you that clear doesn't sound like a very big compliment. But as someone who is a writer, you know, and has written poetry, it's hard to do to make something very clear and resolute to a reader. And like I
Yeah.
was saying earlier, especially when it's coming from a really personal place. And everything is just so like visual. I really love that this I really love poems too that have a very clear sense of space,
Mhm.
place, and time, and that this has that, and has the nature elements as well. And it's just a really lovely poem.
Yeah.
And I think it's so cool how that she gave us such a nice diverse range of
A
poems.
feeling, yeah, like yeah,
And when also just the way that she's crafted each poem is different.
it is, yeah.
And in a small way, like you can tell it's all the same writer, but you can tell that she puts a lot of care into each poem individually.
I really like that one.
Yeah. Thanks, Karina, for sharing. I guess she's not here. Poems.
Yeah, I might, I'll probably think about this later and cry, but it's cool.
Grandmothers have unconditional love, the best love we can get. Very poignant to read that experience of a grandmother. Yeah.
They really do have that unconditional love.
Right. It's just a special relationship. Okay, so we're halfway through, guys, right?
Yeah, I think we have three submissions left.
I thought you said that there was someone who submitted short stories. These are all poems.
I don't think we had any short story submissions this week.
Oh, okay, I misunderstood you then.
Yeah, but I feel like it's poetry month, so.
Hey guys, it's poetry month. Did you know that? You should write another poem about poetry month. Okay. My turn.
Yep.
This is Alyssa Rogo, I guess. Rogo. She says, "Hey there, thanks for doing story time and taking submissions. It's such a wonderful and powerful idea. We agree. I hope this choice will be calming and inspiring for everyone. I will continue to share things. I would like to have all of them be new, and I am not used to submitting things, so apologize for the last minute here. Have a great week." Well, no worries, guys. We are so last minute. You could literally send us to it during the freaking thing and we would read it. So
yeah, it's very true.
Yes, very true.
We're very in the moment people.
So yeah, and we just so appreciate it. Sounds like maybe she's let's see. Okay, so she likes, maybe she's not a new poet, but she says she would like to have all of them be new. So
like she
that's
doesn't
kind of nice. We're all kind of, getting these to be the first readers of these poems and share our thoughts, and I'm sure it's helpful for them to hear the responses. So this is Wise Cycles by Alyssa Rogo. Lake to my north, bringing forth peace, vast open space, along with a cold wind. The sun is setting, southwest yet, as spring is only beginning. He leaves the stage full of color over blue, bowing now for the moon. She is speaking through the trees in the east. Her line is defined, so we'd better decide. Where will my time and energy thrive? The quarter is before us, and spring is demanding new growth. Determine what wishes to be let go. Allow it so. All of your flowers have enough room to bloom.
That is very calming.
Yeah, it's very calming.
Yeah, that's actually, so she posted a little snippet of a poem on Twitter, and that's why I reached out to her, because I read it and I just got this huge like wave of calm, and I was like, can you submit something? Like, this is
should read this.
calming. Like, I don't know, it's one of those, it's enjoyable.
Yeah.
I like the last line a lot. All of your flowers have enough room to bloom.
Yeah, that's definitely my favorite line or stanza. Okay, so I don't know why, but like when I read this, I like keep thinking of like fairies. Like not like a Disney fairies, like Lord of the Rings shit.
Yeah.
Like elves.
A personified spring actually bringing things to you.
Yeah, like she is speaking through the trees in the east. Her line is defined, so we'd better decide. And there's something about it talks about like stage and like play acting kind of. Where were my time?
It paints a really nice picture.
Yeah.
I like that she uses even the directional,
Yeah.
north, southwest. I don't know. It just makes it like that much more
Yeah.
special because you
It's
actually
so
are
interesting.
like a almost like a it's almost like she's describing a painting or like
Right.
describing what she sees out of her window and does
Mhm.
it in a really nice way.
Mhm. Which
Poetry
is
like
so
this.
interesting. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay.
I was
You
gonna
can finish your thought.
I was gonna say poetry like this is like so I've never been a painter. I don't have that ability. I try my best, but it's just not where my strengths lie. But I always said, okay, if I can't paint a scene, I'm gonna work at my best to be able to describe the scene so you can paint it in your mind.
Mhm.
And I feel like this poem does a really good job of that.
Mhm. Yeah, it's not like kind of in a good comparative to the last poem like I was talking about. Like I liking poems that have a very strong sense of um space and place.
Hmm.
It's funny to me because there's not actually that many descriptors in this poem that do what the last poem did, but it somehow manages to do it anyway. And it's like it's just so interesting how there's just certain words like to the east and lake to my north and the sun is setting southwest yet as spring is only beginning. Like it's not that specific, but
Mm-mm.
that's
And
but
yet it is.
she still manages to make my mind just like I'm totally like I would like I said elves like I can't describe to you guys like what's in my head right now, but it's like it's actually full of nature and
Yep, yeah.
sunlight and yeah, so I just find that really interesting. I don't think I've ever read a poem that kind of managed to do that.
I think it's because she took concepts we're all familiar with uh,
Yeah,
and
familiar.
condensed them.
Yeah, familiarity is so huge to writers. I found that even as someone who more so writes prose, like you want to just find that one word that does everything for you, that does all the work for you. And you've just got to think of like what's something that's familiar because it's all what's the word? It's all like comparison. That's not the word I'm looking for, but um inferences or whatever, like that's
Mhm.
how you create a story and you like draw a scene.
Yeah,
So anyway, yeah, really, really cool poem, very unique. I really like that a lot.
me too.
So, and you know what's cool? What's your name again? Alyssa. Oh, or Allie. She signed to Allie.
Yeah.
If you want, you could also like send us a poem, and then if you could send us like the edited version, and it'd be really interesting for us to see how you develop them if that's something you wanted to do.
Yeah.
We'd be willing to read a poem again, if it's like a new version of it. That'd be kind of cool. Okay.
Jackie said, I love words so much for this reason. Yeah. Same.
Yeah.
They're good at painting pictures. Okay. So our last two submissions are from the same person.
Okay. So you read the first one.
All right. The first one's really short. It is from
Jules.
Jules. Jules? That's Silver Talon, right? That's you? Is that you?
Yes. No,
I think
that's an old yes.
yes. Wait. I
No, that
don't
was
know.
at 154. So
I did the same exact thing you did.
yeah.
I think they had said that earlier up that
Yeah. Because it says 154 and it's 202. So
I
okay.
think
We
that is them.
we think
Um,
Silver Talon is Jules.
yes.
Jules. Are you
Is
friends?
me? Yes. Okay, cool.
Is that me? Okay.
Yay. Okay, cool.
So wait, did you write this? Jules? I work for a woman who's French, and her son is Jules, and she says Jules.
I'm watching Psych right now, and that's what it made me think of because Juliet is like, and he calls her Jules.
Mm. Okay, he wrote it. Good.
Sweet. Okay.
Good. Good. Okay.
All
Here we
right.
go.
I feel like there's really bad allergies here, so.
Oh, me too. Oh my God.
You wish for heroes and helping hands, serenity and peace for man. I'll grant your wish if you believe there's heroes' hearts in you and me. With chest and hearts filled with gold, we'll reinvent the coins of old. Lightning strike, spread like fire, then you'll have what you desire. Short and sweet.
Yeah, I think, yeah, I like that. It makes, okay, I guess I'm in a Lord of the Rings brain. I've never even read that book. But it made me think of like, you know, like the riddles and the old magic trick.
So I feel like this is another one that's kind of exactly what I said, right? Short and sweet, like, but you still put a picture in your head.
Yeah. I'm like rereading it just to
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot.
Yeah. Definitely like a nice little poem. It's very how edited is it, like as far as the meter and the rhyme and all of that, because it feels very solid, like
Yeah.
but then sometimes I've done it before, like written a poem with rhyme and it just kind of comes out and it can surprise you, but then sometimes it takes forever, so I'm just curious. But solid poem.
Yeah.
Cool. So Jules has one more. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. So yeah, the last poem, the first poem by Jules was
Oh, okay. That's
almost
interesting.
like,
I wrote it to fit in a tweet.
that's what I was just gonna say. It's like it's like tweet format, because
Yeah.
it was interesting, and now that I see that the next poem is written in stanzas, that makes a lot more sense. I mean, it makes sense of this from Twitter, but my thought process at first was it's written in the form of a prose poem.
Mm-hmm.
So if you guys aren't aware, there's a form called prose poem. So you can, it's like a paragraph that's a poem, and it's really cool. Like I really like prose poetry, but it's not usually like actually written how it's written. It's like in rhyme. So I think it's funny how the tweet actually like forces you to like blend
Yeah.
form in a way, because if you want to write a poem that has that meter and the rhyme, but you're going to tweet it, it's going to be real limiting if you're trying to do the stanzas. So
Yeah.
just make it like a prose poem. So anyway, that brings clarity to all of that, and now I get it, and I find that really interesting. Okay,
I do too.
so last poem of the day. Unless anyone in the chat wants us to read something, shoot us an email, ygbookclub@gmail.com. But for now, this is our final one of the day. This is, I'm just going to say it's by Jules Silver Talon. If I don't see your last name, Jules Witt. Oh, Jules Witt. Maybe that's what it is. I'm going to say your name is Jules Witt. Okay. I Am Therefore by Jules Witt. Once, under the watchful ear of the night, there was a disturbance, like drips unto still water, and from these outreaching waves of consciousness, I am, therefore. So simple a statement, and profound the meaning. Who are we to declare ourselves beings of such stature, more than idle spectators to the act of our own existence, or listeners to the narrator of our minds with whom we so inescapably agree? Who are we really? Will such revelation provide inspiration, or further indentation of our desperation? As our eyes adjust to the light that is no longer there, must my life be so short as to have time barely to ponder its own existence before fading back into entropy? True not that I think, therefore I am. No, I am, therefore. I think now I am a poet in the mind of a sleeping author, blessed with the grace of perfection, cursed to be forgotten by morning, embraced so shortly, mourned so noticelessly, loved so boundlessly. Awesome poem.
Yeah.
This has so much like this is such a journey. This poem is like develops in ways that I wasn't expecting as I was reading it,
Yeah.
which was really cool.
There's a lot of different I'm losing my words. Right. I'll think of it.
Okay.
Losing it'll come back to
What
me.
was the okay? What was, there was a line that I really liked.
Technique.
Oh yeah,
Sorry.
technique.
There's a lot of different techniques, like poetry techniques hidden
Yes,
inside the lines.
yes. Which I really like. I actually do that a lot. So I don't write a lot of poetry, but the one that I have written, that I've worked on and edited, that I like, that I would actually submit to somewhere. There's like one. It is something that I did where I did like the form really changes a lot. So I did like a short stanza thing that kind of develops and then shortens and then actually ends with like a stanza that's basically a prose poem at the end.
Mhm.
And so as someone for my own writing, I really like that. So therefore, in other people's writing, I really like that because it's so interesting to like, um, especially when you like study poetry.
Mhm.
Like if you've taken an actual poetry writing class, um, there tends to be a lot of like a lot of stock in like the form
Yeah.
and the forms as they exist and remaining true to them. And it's so funny because I feel like they're always like, well, it's poetry. You can do whatever you want. And then you do something outside of a form or something that they don't feel like works. And then they're like, no, this doesn't work. You're
Or
like,
yeah,
I was trying.
my teachers used to say, "Well, you have to master the rules before you can break them." And I'm like, "Well,
Yeah.
I think the rules are stupid, and I'm gonna break them anyways."
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's a part of me that definitely agrees with that because it's like there has to be this understanding, there has to be intention. That's what
Yeah.
it is. So it's like, okay, so do I really have to wait 5 years of writing bad poems before I can say, oh, I've mastered the rules? No, like just know what they are. Just give me a definition of what they are. Okay, I'm a smart, intelligent human being. Okay, so I get that. So now I'm going to intentionally break them. Like I just don't think that there's so much like
Yeah.
pretense there. And so anyway, so I appreciate that each stanza really, I mean, there's not a huge amount of diversity, but it's just enough that it feels very intentional and it feels like each stanza has a purpose in the way that it is developed
Mhm.
and the thoughts are developed and stuff like that. So I really like that about this poem. And then like I was saying, I like it kind of turns to it. I also really like when writers talk about their writing and their poetry,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
like the this writer is definitely I say this writer, Jules, is connecting the like thoughts of existence to writing and like I am therefore I am and all of that stuff, and I like that.
Yeah.
And then I like how it ends with something that is, it's not cerebral. It's very much about like human connection
Mhm.
and um, being remembered and being loved, and like, yeah, connection, I guess is probably the best word,
Yeah.
which I like.
It's a nice one to end on for sure, I think.
Yeah. Yeah,
I really
I
I think
agree.
yeah. It's very it's very thoughtful and thought provoking, and
yeah. Paul, we're bringing it full circle. Paul Andrighetti and Jules Witt are still here, and they like each other's poetry, so that's awesome.
Poetry friends.
Yay! Okay, guys, so this was super fun. This was my first time being really present, so thank you to Megan for this was your idea, and thank you for doing all this and putting this on.
I'm excited that people actually like it. Like,
yeah, this is, I don't want to say a surprise, but like just a pleasant surprise in that way of like, you guys are actually here. And like the fact that there's like, was like between 5 and 8 of you is like, that's a book club right there, you know? Like I keep like, anytime I get like kind of like, oh, like I get my panties in a wad about like numbers with the book club on the Twitter page, I just always remind myself, is like, dude, book clubs are like usually like 5 to 8 people. Yeah, maybe 10. And the fact that we're doing this is not even our main thing, and there's like 5 to 8 of you is like, you guys are the best. Yay, new friends. So please, if you are interested in on Wednesdays we write, let us know and tell us your thoughts about how you think we could do it, as far as if we could host a live stream and just, it'd be kind of cool if we could host a live stream. Here's what we could do. We could host a live stream and we could play some classical music, and maybe even like we kind of mute or something, or just have the hosts be able to check in. And so say like, okay, here's our writing prompt, and then write for 15 minutes and then check in at the end. But then if any of you really want to share it, you could just shoot it to our email really fast.
Yeah.
Right?
I also think I think with StreamYard, I think we could have up to 6 people hosting at a time.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to read it, we could just shoot you an email, hop on the stream right quick.
Yeah, that's great.
You know.
I hope, yeah, I like that. Really good for the soul. I love it.
Yeah, thank you, Paul, for your input. Please send us more, and send us more of your the poets from Iran, right? Or Iraq, where was it? But please send us those, because I think that would be really a really unique perspective.
Yeah. And also, so I'm assuming all of us here are Yang Gang. We're trying to use this as a actual like legitimate form of outreach outside of the Yang Gang. So every chance we get, we're gonna like take advantage of it. If you have any friends that are writers, just invite them to this space. And you know, like, we're not going to be political here, of course, you know, that's not what we're about. We're just about connecting as a group, but also we're all like-minded in some ways. So yeah, if you have any writer friends, tell them to join in.
Jackie, you can send it to ygbookclub@gmail.com. If you have any poetry, short stories, essays, things like that, you can send it there. If you have any ideas about on Wednesdays we write, you can actually just shoot us a DM on our Twitter page, and I will have that YG Book Club Gmail in the comments of the video.
Yes. We can also do a follow-up tweet.
I'm laughing at Andy.
Hi, Andy. We see you. We see you. Andy should write. Andy is a writer, right? You write something.
He said, please ignore the username.
Paw Patrol Chief. No, I'm You're the best, dude. You're so funny.
Oh,
damn.
Andy, you're the best.
Andy, do you write? Andy, you have to write. See, when people are really good at Twitter, I'm like, you have to be a writer. Or like, you have to at least want to write.
Yeah.
Therefore, you should. So anyway, let's do a follow-up tweet on the page with, so like, you know, again, helping to increase the FOMO of those who are not joining.
Yeah.
I don't want to sound like a douchebag because obviously there are people who just can't. But or just, you know, people to come check it out afterwards and with the email, and then we can tie in the writing thing on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So, or a mention of it and say, you know, like we're thinking of doing it, or I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Sounds good.
look at what we will post the follow-up tweet also so it has the email in it.
Yep. All right. Well, thanks for coming, guys.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
Thank you so much. This was really fun.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay.
All right, guys. We'll see you later.
See ya. Have a good week.